was 12 of the longest days of my life having the kids removed from me.
If the Family Defense Center was not there, my life would be drastically different.
I once was a victim, but I'm not anymore.
I'll never be the same, and I don't want the system to ever be the same.
I received a panic phone call from my wife saying, they're here at the house. DCFS is here, and they're saying they want to take the children. They had police in the driveway. How could these people do this? Why? We're telling the truth. We're not lying. We've never lied.
When DCFS came, I explained to them, they were like, oh, like, they have to take the baby from me. First, I was like regretting of coming to America. Why would they accuse me of what I didn't do? It took me 3 months to get my baby Rachel back, but it took like 2 years to get the case over. Without Family Defense Center, I don't think I would have gotten my baby back.
For 22 years, we've had 60 children in our home, and there's never been one complaint of a scratch, a bump, a bruise, a wrong word, anything. We have been huge advocates. From the bottom of our hearts, we're very actively involved in our family. So when a DCFS person knocked on the door and shouted from the porch, we have allegations that a perpetrator is living in your home. And it was 12 of the longest days of my life, you know, having the kids removed from me. To have this happen leads me to believe this could happen to anybody at any time.
I think the child welfare system is it's a fascinating system, but it's an incredibly flawed system. It has enormous powers that we don't give to anybody else in our country, in our system. We're vigilantes in the sense of trying to stay on guard against unconstitutional conduct. At the heart of it, unlawful conduct by the government.
We had probably 2 or 3 months in the juvenile court where they were determining whether there was abuse or not. Everything was in our favor, you know, and the judge agreed that you know, we're not liars. Looking at me and thinking that this family could be accused of child abuse is unthinkable. But we were, and as scary as it sounds, it can happen to anyone.
I think Brian and Laura are probably changed fundamentally. They prevailed in their case. It was an opportunity to challenge the status quo in that courthouse. For me, it was even scary having a child. I know all of the different vulnerabilities that any family can be exposed to. It's just the most disempowering situation there can be, to be told that you have no rights to make any decisions about your kids.
I had worked so hard to keep my son and I together, stay clean off drugs for such a long time, and I was scared for my son.
I got taken away from my mom.
And I didn't want him to feel like I had just abandoned him.
They thought that my mom was bad, but she really wasn't.
and I asked to speak to somebody to find out what I had to do to get him back. I was told that it was out of their hands and I had to deal with the grandmother. And I knew at that point that it wasn't gonna happen. So I relapsed because my mother would not let me see or speak to my son at all for close to 2 months. But I realized, even in that state, that it was not bringing me any closer to getting Sam back.
About 3 years ago, we started realizing that cases involving mothers and had some gender discrimination aspect to them. What we were seeing is these stereotypes are taking the place of evidence, that it's pure discrimination. We want to take it to the point that it stops. I am committed to making the center as successful as a force for justice as it can possibly be. The work we do is so needed.
You need to have as many people behind you as possible, because the system with certain problems or deficiencies can run innocent people over.
We appreciate everyone who has given so much to make this center what it is today. But with your help, we can be so much more.